Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Rick. I am the Loophole King, live from the Blue Cheese Room here on the dark side of the moon. This is map making, part 2. We're making a spiral maze. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, be sure to check this out. I got some music in the background here. Let me know if it's a little loud. Yeah, we're going to continue. My lighting is really off today. Let me fix that real quick. Just help yourself in. Sorry about that. I got the lights fixed and get a little doggo camera here. Let's see if the doggo will say hi, puppers. Say hi, Daisy. That's Miss Daisy, of course. Let me get the camera fixed again because I only have one at the moment. Because life things. But anyway, now that you guys can see me a little better. We are currently working on, like I said, a circular maze map for DM the Mark Knight. Kind of posted it as kind of a joke yesterday, so I started working on it. He wanted quite of a big one, so I think this one's large enough. Right now what we're doing, we've got the basis of the map laid out here. What I've done is I've switched the, we're using Dungeon Draft today. I find it to be a fairly simple, easy use product. So, there's that. I like the interface. So what we've got here is, like I said, we've got this, for most stuff, I'll turn off the grid and the snap and the lighting, just to lower the resources usage. Right now what we've done is we've made the cave, because he wanted a cave. So we've made the cave, we put some dead ends and runarounds and things like that. Put in a cave in if they want to dig through, they can get through to get to the second level. Actually, I think there should probably be a loop from here to here. We'll think about that. Right now what we're doing is, because there is... Here, let me get my webcam out of the way for you. So you can see all of this. So, what we're doing right now is, because we use the cave tool, we can't apply textures to the cave floor because of the way the layers interact. So what we have to do is go through here, we go to the cave brush, we go to blast open, and we just basically kind of erase the floor. Basically blast open, normally what blast open would do is, you see this little area here, it'll knock out, it kind of removes the section of cave, right? It kind of blasts open the doors and lets you put entrances and things like that. One of the other features, one of the other good features about it is you can use it to remove, you can quote, blast open the floor to give yourself a new texture. My advice always is, if you're going to do this technique, do it in black. Make your walls any way you want it. But make the floor coloring, the ground color, in black, because it's easier to notice. Also, let's go back to, sorry. This is, make sure that I get these. So the other thing is when you're doing the blast open, if you notice, you don't have to get it all. It'll add a really nice coloring effect to your map. You don't have to get it all. You don't have to get against every single edge or whatnot. Just don't delete your wall, or you have to go back in and put a new wall in, which is not hard. It's just clicking over to the Dig Caves section. But with this, like you can see, it adds this like shadow edge to your walls. Now, add some cool dynamic lighting, and you will have yourself a wonderful, wonderful looking map. Also, the reason I use black is because it shows you a much better difference on the. So when you use, so we go here to terrains, and we have the multiple terrains. I can add more, but your main one you want to use the terrain void, which is what you see there, because again, it's a matter of visibility when you're working. If if you don't mind, you can do whatever you want. These are just recommendations, of course, as always. Do what feels right for you, or what is better for your eyesight. If you're colorblind, I have no. I don't know what to do about that. Honestly, I haven't looked into it. I myself am not colorblind. I'm just a little old, so kind of makes for a little harder eyesight. That's why I haven't zoomed in so much here. Also, you will have that problem. It will randomly crash on you. But it does have automatic saves, and Control S will save at random points. So I just saved it. We won't have that big of a problem. We just gotta wait till everything loads back in again here real quick. Aha. Oh. Well, let's load this up here. Let's let this finish loading. It looks like we have an update, which is new. So we'll get a chance to look at that while we're doing this. Update available. We'll run in here and update it while we're... pop in our installer, save our file, as always. Open the file up. By the way, get it at Humble Bundle. It's a new customers can sign up before 2/5 and lock in a price of $12 per month for a year of Humble Bundle choice. I accept as always. Map files, Dungeon Draft, install, yada yada yada. Discount applied at checkout. Choice, Powerhouse, Built to Survive. You can grab all these bundles. I'm a big fan. Oh, wait, you want more stuff? Oh, it's finished. So, yeah, we'll launch. Dungeon Draft again. We'll close this one out. So, Dungeon Draft recent. And then we'll reopen this. World War Z. It's pay what you want. Quite a few bundles and things like that. Choice is really nice. $12 a month, I believe. You get 10 or more games to choose from. You choose up to 9 to keep forever. In Trove, you can support a charity every month, the Montreal Children's Hospital Foundation. Everything we sell contributes to one of our supported charities. 5%, each 5% of your Humble Choice purchase is donated to the featured charity. So these are great. Just to give you an idea, here's this month's list of games. We got PC Building Simulator to help you build your cities. Ancestors. We got Chaos Bane from Warhammer, Total Tank, Tales of Neosona, D-Leveled, and Ambassador. And Hey Park Boy for free. So, that's great. We're going to check out Humble Bundle. Yeah, I'm going to close more tabs. We're going to pop open our little map here. We'll zoom out as always. take off the grid, take off the snap, take off the lighting, and we'll have to redo this a little bit, so it's not a big deal. I'm not bent out of shape about it in any way, shape, or form. You know, that's just me. I don't get too cranky most of the time. Well, I do get cranky sometimes. Everybody gets cranky. But I don't get extremely cranky due to the fact that I'm on new meds now. Just Control S. You notice down in the little corner, you can see the down here, it'll say save down in the far right hand corner. It also gives you the actual position. Mouse wheel changes the size of the brush. As always, you hold Alt and you can erase things, which means I can blast open this, and then if I change my mind, I can go like this and put it back. But I don't want to do that right now. That's another good way to add varying textures and things to it. So we're going to erase most of this, but when we put in our tiles and our flooring and things like that, we can go back and add sections of this back, like right over a piece of floor tile or whatever, and give it a texture, you know, give it a different look, textured. I am a big fan of making sure that all of your floors and caves and stuff don't look alike, because you want different sections of, like this, different sections of this cave are going to look different due to, this is all not the same rock, right? If you dig a tunnel, you're going to find, you know, different types of sediment, you're going to find different types of rocks and things. It's busy for the moment. You'll get that a lot too, where it says it's busy. It just means it's still trying to calculate some of the vertices. So give it a minute. You also want to, like we can zoom in here, lower this down, and kind of take out a little bit of this here, so it doesn't look completely. Why is it on replay? Give me a second. There we go. Sorry, it was just on replay for some reason. My bad. I mean, I like the song, but I'd like to hear some more stuff. I like this group. Eye of I. Yeah, so you can go in here and you can just whittle away at this. Because when you do the cave, you pick what the cave floor looks like, and it just gives you this random generic cave pattern, which is fine. I mean, if you're just doing like a little one-off or something, it's just something that your player, it might be a random encounter or something that your players might run into. It's fine. It's just like a little cave. You're putting a bear fight or, you know, some sort of little thing in there. What I recommend though is, yeah, okay. Sure. What I do recommend, if you're, especially for persistent campaigns where your players can come back to these areas, there we go, we got to save. If your players can come back to these areas, or you're doing a one-shot, one-shots aren't as bad, because, but you may get people who want to replay your one-shot. If you DM professionally, like if you're on Roll20 or some of those others where you just do one-shots over and over again, and you kind of like run the same 2 or 3 on occasion, what you might want to do is vary up the textures, which is what you'll see me do this here in a little bit. And the reason is your players want to feel immersed. Now, granted, for the most part, most of your players will, you know, ignore some things, right? I mean, a lot of us have played in real life. You know that you're using just this little board. You're using a like a tile map situation, or you know, one that you can use dry erase on, like I did last night. I played my real life Saturday game. You know, you just draw it, wipe it down, draw it, wipe it down. But it is good. I have a tendency to, you know, do a real rough sketch of the maps in WonderDraft so I can have a copy of it. So I'm not, especially even in real life, because I don't want the maps. The worst thing you want to do is try to map freehand and just randomly generate a map while you're doing it at the table, because the problem becomes is you forget where you need to put things. And all of a sudden your dungeon gets a little weird looking, and your players start to, you know, notice subtle inconsistencies, and they're real people. They will notice. So you will get players like that too on your online games. If you just spend a little extra time like this, I could have just left this as, you know, I can change the color of this floor to blue or whatever, green or whatever. I could throw some materials over it like lava. And you can go in here and you just do the material brush, and you just go like, hey, look, let's throw in some lava, right? And just go in here and just go lava. The problem is on this you can't apply it. Well, here, let's first, if it's on below ground, let's use layer 1. You know, you can add lava. Woohoo! I added lava. The problem with that is it just kind of like, it doesn't look proper sometimes, right? So the reason I do this is I can do this with multiple textures underneath. Like this flooring, this is the background texture. This is what everything's going to look like. But when you layer the textures in a certain order, in a certain way, you can give it such a much more realistic feel to it, and your players will enjoy that. I find that players who can visualize, like, yes, it's a game of the imagination, but it's always easier for you to look at a map and go, oh, here's where the dungeon tile stops, and this is where the trap starts. This is where I need to be careful about this, that, and the other. Also, I use it as like markers for where I want to put things, right? So like this, I'm going to leave this. I'm going to, like, these halls have been kind of clear. I'm going to leave this kind of central spot here, all the way down this hallway. Right, so like this shadowy kind of like section right there in the middle, all the way down the hallway. I don't know why it seems like a good idea right now. We may change it. So you just kind of dip in there a little bit. You can take this out, make it a little darker, you know. But it gives your players the feel that, one, they're in an actual environment, right? They're not just throwing their minis on a map and having at it, right? Let's see, we're going to cut around the edges here. Oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. So we're going to cut around these edges real nice. Come down in here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave this take this, oh, no, too big, not like that. I do want to do, let's do this. And then we kind of spot it around like this. Maybe take this section here and kind of fiddle in, kind of give this kind of a shadowy pattern a little bit. Like, see, now it looks like a little shadowy pattern. And you don't have to do it everywhere, but just, like I said, you want to break up the texture some, so you don't have to be, oh yeah, here's another little great, hey guys, glad you can join me in chat. You know, say hi. I believe my I believe this is working. Nope, it's not working. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. I do all this on my own. I don't have anybody running any of this stuff, so, you know. But, so here, you can use the text, you can use the text, I'll zoom in over here too. Like, this is the false ending, right? This is where the players will maybe end up if they don't find the secret door to the tunnel that leads them to the actual place they're going. They might think this is the end and just give up. This is an impassable cave. And over here we have a cave-in. And the reason I put the cave-in as opposed to impassable cave-in, we're going to give them a couple of cave-ins. But I know this one is a special loop around. If they want to get through this cave-in, they can. In which case, right here is the cave-in. They will find a dead end, maybe something over here, and then they will find an alternate path. So that's the kind of that I do like being able to put text. Tunnel A to tunnel A. Of course, this goes underneath, so you can depict that. There's the secret door. I recommend making 2 maps. Well, you make 1 map, right? You label one, save it with the text visible. See, visible, not visible. So visible, you save it, then you export this version as the DM, whatever it is. It's, you know, whatever you're going to call the map. Like this is Mark Circle Map version 1. So this will be Mark Circle Map DM. Mark Circle. We'll give it a title like Mark Circle Map DM version 1, and then Mark Circle Map Player version 1. So the DM, you can open this as a picture on your screen and know where all of these things are labeled. But on your VTT or such as Foundry, which is where I do most of mine, or I do all of mine, Roll20. I believe these pictures will be. You can use these maps in what is it called? Fantasy Grounds. Fantasy Grounds. You should be able to use them in Fantasy Grounds. Matter of fact, I'll test this one in Fantasy Grounds when we're done. So your players will have the map that you want them to see, and then you will have a reference map of, oh yeah, here's the cave-in. Oh yeah, here's the secret door. Oh yeah, here's the. You can label your encounters. Like, in this cave they're going to run into 2 Ankh eggs, and over here is the pool of death, right? And things like that. You can do all of that on your map and have it open, and then the players will just see a map without any labels on it, and will have to fill it in themselves. Which is a great feature. I really enjoy it. Let's zoom in just a little bit more here. I really do like being able to just make one map, label my map as I'm making it, when I'm putting in all the stuff. Another good thing about that is when you do multiple maps like this, when you do a single map like this, you can make multiple versions of the map. Right? Let's say you have a bunch of, let's say you have Roll20 and you have a bunch of tokens and assets that you like to use already, right? And you're just kind of like, you're not sure how you want to use this map. Well, you can make this map different in several ways. So you can just make this basic map, right? And then, leave it exactly the way it is. Save it as a single thing, as your base map, and then go through and mess with different textures, right? Mess with different dynamic lighting, different colors, things of that nature, and then save multiple versions of this map. Like you can have one that's totally ice. Right? You can just change all of this to ice. You can change one towards where it's all water, like this is an underground river where they have to traverse while they're swimming, or in boats or something. You can make it all crystalline. You can make it completely dark, like it's all magical darkness, and they can't see anything unless they're like warlocks, or have light spell cast at like 3rd or 4th level or whatever. You can do a whole lot of other things with your base map to make it look entirely different. You can put objects and things in this one. Like, you can just build the map that you want, and save it, and then you'll be able to go back. Like, let's say you want to just take out everything, right? Or let's say, like I do quite a bit sometimes, I'll make the original map, I'll save it, and then I'll put in the map that the players are going to see first, right? And then, if the players beat the monsters in the cave and want to take over, you can go in and alter the map the way that the players want to alter. Maybe they want to dig through this tunnel. Maybe they want to make this room bigger. Maybe they want to take out all the furniture that's in here, or maybe they want to take out all the garbage that's in here and fill it full of furniture. Maybe they melted the ice. Maybe you have a thing where it is made out of ice, but it's only made out of ice. But it's weird because this one's near the in some sort of temperate zone, and it shouldn't be ice. But the secret is there's some ice elemental in here, or ice demon, that's making it all ice. And once they defeat it, it'll go back to normal. So you have your ice map that the players encounter the first time, and then you have the second map if the players defeat the monster. A map you can show them with the results of their work, the results of their handiwork, right? So that way, when they come back to visit the, poor, rock gnome tunnels, the rock gnome mine, now it looks like a real mine. It's, they're able to, all the little frozen bodies that you put in here are gone. All the little ice things are gone, and it looks normal again. So you can do that. And then that way, when your players come back to check on them, your world looks like it evolves with their decisions. Like, their decisions that they make and their actions in the world actually affect the world. And that is a great feeling for your characters as a DM. It's a great feeling for your characters, because then they're like, oh yeah, man, you remember when we, what part of the map are we on? Or aren't we near the cave? Oh yeah, man, let's go visit the gnomes. And then they remember the places, instead of you having to, tell them where they're at and stuff like that. They remember places. And they're like, oh yeah, we can go by and check on them. Let's say it's been, 10, 12 gaming sessions since they've been here, or been in this area, right? The gnomes have, maybe you can use this map again because the gnomes are gone, right? Let's say it's been 6 months. Maybe the, maybe the gnomes mined it all out, or maybe the gnomes sold the rights to a bunch of dwarves for some money so they can move, because they were tired of being here, right? You can do another short adventure, right? Another thing in the same map that they've already been through, so they kind of know what's in here, right? Did that save it? I keep missing it. Okay, yeah. So they already know what the map looks like, but when they get inside, the terrain is different. The monsters inside it, there's no more ice mephits and yetis and things like that in here. Maybe the, maybe the gnomes come back to them and tell them that now that, they've come across this, they've continued digging, you can add to the map over here. Or maybe they found an ancient portal that they would like to hire the PCs to go through. Like, all right, we found this big magic item, or this big magic portal, or X monster is woken up, or you know, we've decided to move, they, like I said, they could sell it to dwarves or, goblins or whatever, right? You can make it a tourist attraction. There's all sorts of things you can do. You can also expand on it. You can take this map. So say the PCs come back and they can wander through this section of the map, and then they get to a tunnel that leads down, right? One that was hidden by the ice and nobody noticed when they finally dug something out, and then they find the staircase that goes down into an ancient tomb, and then you take them to another map where it has an ancient tomb, and maybe they inadvertently release something, and then this turns back into some sort of zombie infested thing, or you can do all kinds of weird things with a single map. Like I said, this is the part that is a little tedious. Probably not as exciting as you guys, which is why I'm talking a lot. Not as exciting as what you guys think for map making or whatnot. But I consider it an essential portion of my maps. Just as essential as planning. Now, one of the things I'm doing what I'm doing today is this is a map for somebody else. This is a custom map that I'm generating for a DM to use in one of his games. And I only have one single note to go on. The goal is to make as a matter of fact, let's pull up the, give me a second here, let me pull up the Twitter feed. Everybody say hi to Twitter. Come follow me on Twitter. You'll get notifications whenever we go live. You'll find a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, man. Oh, I can't spell. And go to notifications. Yay, notifications. Bunch of nerd stuff here. Let's go down to my mentions and find it. Where are we here? This is me going live last time. So, I didn't want to click on the image, but that's fine. I wanted to click on the tweet. So I said, everybody, if you have a Discord channel, have a stream announcement page, look to know. And I said, I'm gonna, start doing maps. I'm gonna do a map real quick. And my friend Mark, I play in one of Mark's games, so it is. He needs a circle labyrinth like this, but made out of 15 to 20 foot wide caves. LOL. And then he sends me this picture, right? And he needs something like this, some sort of circular maze. But he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to just put this up on the map screen, up on the screen, and tell and tell his players, well, you're in a maze, right? Because that's, you need a thing, right? And I could have gone more complicated like this, but he wasn't very specific, right? So all I got was, I need a circular labyrinth like this, but in 15 foot, self-promo Saturday for yesterday. It was in full swing. I want to know what you're working out with out there at the D&D TTRPG community. I sent him a thing, working on maps as per our usual agreement. Yes, master. Because I make a bunch of maps for his world. I play in his... I play in one of his games on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I play Serani, who is a 4th level... Let me get this right. I'm a 4th level Circle of the Spores Druid, 4th level Swarmkeeper Ranger, 3rd level Sylvan Warden Barbarian. And I happen to be a Shambleid. So this is like, yeah, I just need a labyrinth like this. So he wanted a smaller one, but he wanted it made out of caves. So that's what we're doing. I accepted the challenge, and as usual, probably I thought I could do it in a couple of hours, but I ran into one of my problems. I'm kind of a perfectionist. My computer runs a little slow every now and then. Let me, oh, no, it's busy. Yeah, one of the hardest parts about making a map in Dungeon Draft is doing it while you're streaming, because this and Streamlabs OBS are both so intense. So yeah, I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I start to do something, and I'm like, that doesn't look right, no, that doesn't feel right. I want it to look like, because I'm putting my name on it, right? And it's going to be live on stream, and I could just, I could have just fired off this little map, left it black, left the background black, and say, here, there you go, fill it in the way you want. Or I can play, I can do what I'm doing and make it very, very nice, and maybe drum up some more business. This one is going to be in our Patreon exclusive. I am going to be I'm working on several maps. This one will be added as a Patreon exclusive. I'm restructuring. Now would be a good time to get in on our Patreon, because I think I only have 3 Patreon levels at the moment. 1, 3, and 9, I believe, are the levels. I'm in the process of restructuring Patreon, my merch, and all of that. So, yeah, it's a thing. I'm a businessman. Yeah, but Serani is a Shambleid. He's a race Mark and I created specifically for his game and his game world. That is, well, Serani's story is that Serani was one of those carnivorous plants that players hate to fight. Some form of yellow mold, creeping mold, husker kind of entity. So I wasn't really sentient, as it were. But my where I was growing happened to be the spot of 2 random and unrelated events. One of those events was I happened to be right near a Shambling Mound spawning bed. They only spawn about once every 5 years, and basically what Shambling Mounds do, if you're unfamiliar, one of the ways that have been mentioned that they reproduce is they basically just get together in a giant pile, a bunch of them, kind of like when fish spawn and they just basically all just swim around releasing gametes and things like that to fertilize the eggs, and the eggs all into the water at the same time. So Shambolids do that, except their spawning grounds are the sites of severe storms and severe lightning storms. So that was, that happened right there where I was, in this cave, deep underground of the swamp. And then it just so happened that at about the same time, I had just been infected with the blight of a demon lord, whose name is Warika, and she is the demon lord of blight and decay. So she has escaped out of her realm into the prime material plane of our land, and has started spreading this blight across the land. Well, I had already been infected with it. I was already a carnivorous plant at that point, and then the magical lightning and the magic from the demon blight and the spawning ground caused me to spontaneously turn into a sentient being. So I look partially like a shambling mound, and I look partially like a myconid. If you haven't seen them, they're the little fungus mushroom guys. And I was pretty much evil. So I started hunting random animals and creatures in the Underdark with my hulking form, and I happened to run across a band of myconid hunters who were out scouring the side because their circle, their little area, was being harassed by grips, little camouflaging predators from the Underdark. Basically, it's think a squid. Think of if you took a squid, made it an actual head, so the beak is. Let me turn my webcam on so you can see what I'm doing. It's got a beak, a bunch of tentacles, and then a snake-like body, like a big boa constrictor kind of thick body, and it camouflages in the dirt and whatnot. Right? They ran across me, thought I was, in danger or something, and thought I was a monster. But I could speak, so what they did was, since I was all of 48 hours old, I hadn't come into my powers or anything. I hadn't come into any of my, abilities yet. I hadn't, I really didn't have anything. I was basically a newborn. They captured me and took me back to their circle. And then their leader, the sovereign of their circle, Baraldi, used his healing magics and his healing spores and his knowledge of druidic magic to purify me. In that process, I gained more sentience, because at the earliest point, I was basically just kind of like an animal intelligence, right? Probably about a four or five. Had basically the same kind of hunger instincts as the shambling mound and the carnivorous plant. But upon the end of the ritual, when basically the curse of the blight had been removed, I basically gained more sentience. I became more than a trained animal, more than like this animal you could train, and more like an actual being. So in that space, I started working with the myconids, even though I wasn't one of them, and I can't use my spores. I don't actually have spores to communicate with. and so we so you know, that was my backstory. I met the group because the group was down there already for they had been playing for a couple of weeks already, but they had one of their characters had died, and the player had real life obligations, so he could not continue to play. And the party was having a rough time because there weren't any real tanks, right? They were already 6th level, and I had been wanting to try out this. This was before Tasha's. This was 10 months ago. I wanted to try. I had wanted to make a character that was a Swarmkeeper Circle the Spores Druid, because I thought those were so similar, and they were so nice, and that it would fit in such a great theme. So that's what I did. So Serani looks like basically a walking swamp. I have various, you know, my Fae for my Swarmkeeper abilities basically flutter around me, look like Detrivores, and some of them look kind of like one of our friends' familiar, Pioza, small pseudo-dragon, and some of them look like my new friend Archie, who is also what do I want to call it? A homebrew race, due to certain circumstances. So he's an arachnid type PC, and since my original swarm was Detrivores, because I lived in the swamp and I thought that'd be cool. Did I just break that wall? Menu. I did save. Okay. Menu, open recent. I want to make sure I didn't break that wall there. Grid, snap, lighting. I did. I broke the wall. That sucks. Okay, that's fine. K-brush. Pick this color. Pick this color. And then we just add this spot back in here. There we go. Okay, good. Then save again and go to the blast open so we can continue doing what we're doing here. Yeah. You know, like I said, don't get too close to the wall sometimes. So yeah, so I have this big. I am disappointed in the way Tasha's changed the Swarmkeeper. I don't like it. It really nerfs the Ranger, which, by the way, it was one of two of really good. One of the two feasible Ranger subclasses that you could take, and let's be honest, they nerfed it to a point where the Swarmkeeper ability is nearly useless at this point, because in the playtest version, of course, you had to spend a bonus action to activate it, kind of like Rage or something like that, and then you got to do a D6 and force damage, and you had the option of pushing. Moving the target 10 feet in any direction, right? Apparently they thought that the ability to do that 3 or 4 times a day, or basically every fight, was a little too overpowered, which is fine. You know, you can lower the amount of time I can do it, or you could even have lowered the damage to like a D4. But what they did is they removed the, they turned it into straight piercing damage. So it does no other damage. So it doesn't count as magical damage anymore. So, like, if I had to run up with a plain old stick, in the previous version, I could run up with my stick. I could use my bonus action to activate my swarm, and then I could beat you over the head with my stick. And if you were immune to all but magical damage, you wouldn't take anything from the stick, but you would still take the swarm damage of a d6 force, which is basically me whacking you with the magic sword every round. Right? But that was my bonus action, and I have to hit you. And so there was that. And then I could move you up to 10 feet in any direction, which was good. I think people were abusing it. I mean, you could have abused it a little bit with Sentinel. But it's not forced. It's forced movement, so it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. But if I hit you with an attack of opportunity, you can use Sentinel to make your. I can basically make your speed 0 for the remainder of your movement, and move you 10 feet further back from where you were, which is fine. But at first I have to have 3 levels in a ranger class. First, I have to be a 3rd level ranger. Second, I have to be near you with a weapon in my hand. I have to have had. I have to have spent a bonus action to activate my swarm. And I have to be at least 4th level or a human to have the Sentinel feat. So that's a lot of hoops to jump through to make something that is still not quite as overpowered as other things are. Like, paladin sorcerers, if you get my drift. Now, my options are, my swarm is always on. I can't activate it and deactivate it, so it's always around, which is fine, but it's, character-wise, it's a tad annoying that I can't, activate it or deactivate it at will. It does 1d6 piercing damage, but it only does 1d6 piercing damage if I choose it to do piercing damage. I have 3 options. They thought they made it better by giving me options to use. The options are bad. The 3 options are deal 1d6 piercing damage, or move the target up to 10 feet horizontally, so basically in a straight line. So you can't move them diagonally. Like before, you could just move them 10 feet. So you can move them, I can move you over 1 and up 1, like a chess knight. Or I can move myself up to 5 feet, which is fine, but 5 feet doesn't get you anywhere. 5 feet doesn't do anything to you, right? It's not, 10 feet is not a great movement to move somebody if you can't position them. If it's just like, because a lot of times you're going to be in a fight where you can't move the guy 10 feet horizontally because there's 2 people on either side of him. What you wanted to do was move, he's surrounded. What you wanted to do is you wanted to hit him and move him out of the way so he's not surrounding your party member or something to that effect. Now I can't do both. I can hit you and deal the extra damage, which if you're immune to magical weapons, if you're immune to non-magical damage, you're just immune to my 3rd level feature. It's just, it feels like they just took a banhammer to it. The Nerf bat. It looks like feels like they took the Nerf bat to the Rangers again. And I'm really upset about that because Rangers should be a really good class, right? I mean, most of us who played Rangers back in the day, when we wanted to play Rangers, when we had the ability scores to play Rangers in 2nd edition, we were doing it because everybody wanted to be Aragorn, right? Everybody wants to be Strider. You read the books, you're like, yeah, I don't want to be the Elven, you could be the Elven Archer, but, what if I want to be the Ranger? I want to dual wield a long sword and a short sword. Like, hell yeah. Now, you can do that. There aren't any good subclasses for the Ranger. The Beastmaster, which was one of the cool things about making a Ranger back in the days, you having a pet, right, help you, do things. You know, in the beginning, it was more like the Beastmaster pet from like Beastmaster the movie, where you're basically you get like a raccoon or kind of like an upgraded. Basically, it was kind of like an upgraded familiar. You know, where the Wizard's familiar got killed, that was a bad thing. If your pet got killed, you could get a new one with your ability. You just had to be careful. But you would get like a ferret or a raccoon or a possum or something like that. And it was cool. Now they're like, oh, we're going to make him bigger. It's like, okay, fine. I can have a wolf or, a bear or, can you even get a bear now? I think you can get a wolf or a cat or a fox or something stupid like that. But the animal you do get, your bonded animal, your puppy dog, can't do anything on its own. It's too dumb to fight by itself. In the player's handbook, you have a choice. You can take an action, or you can spend your whole action telling your bear to sick him. And the bear will sick them. But the bear won't continue to sick them every round. Now, it's a rules as written, rules as intended kind of conversation where it says it will continue to perform its last command unless given a different command. Well, that's fine, but it also states that, and that's for the rules as written, that's for generic tasks as in stay here, guard this spot, go find me a rabbit, that kind of thing. In combat, it specifically states that if your pet, if your beast, your bonded beast, wants to make an attack roll, you have to spend one of your attacks to do it. And that negates the fact that you have a pet. It's like, I can hit him or I can have Fido hit him. Well, I do a D8. Fido does a D6. I have 3 feats that allow me to do more damage. Fido's got no feats. Right? Like, there's no good reason to take a Beastmaster. Now let's go to the Hunter. The Hunter's really good. I think the Hunter is one of the 3 viable ones. Not the best one, although I am playing one in a different campaign. And we have one. Our NPC in our Tuesday game is a Hunter. Colossus Slayer, really good. An extra D8 worth of damage if the target's already been injured. That comes in handy. My personal favorite is actually Horde Breaker, because I love free attacks. And Horde Breaker is when you make an attack with a weapon, a melee weapon, when you make a weapon attack, you can make an additional weapon attack against another creature within 5 feet of the original target. So basically, you get if 2 people are standing next to each other, like you got a horde of goblins that are chasing you down the hallway, you can turn around, fire a pot shot off at one of them with your bow, and if there's another one within 5 feet of it, you can hit him too. Or you can do the thing where you attack with your and it's not a bonus action or anything. It's just like a free attack, so it doesn't burn up your bonus action. So at 3rd level, you can technically get 3 attacks. So you can dual wield. So go main hand, off hand, and because you took an attack using the attack action during your turn, if there's somebody within 5 feet of your target that's also a bad guy, you can hit them. Now, the rules as written versus rules as intended. This has caused a bunch of other problems with people debating this, saying that it's quite limited, and it is, because if you look at this map, let's snap on the grid here. If you look at this map, and I'm standing in this square right here, and the bad guy is standing in this square, or let's say I'm standing between them. I'm standing here, there's a bad guy here, and there's a bad guy here. You would think that this one is 5 feet, this is a 5 foot square, so this one is 5 feet away from this one. That's not how the maps measure space. It measures from center to center. So this is 10 feet apart. This is a 10-foot space. So if I attack this one, I can't turn around and attack this one because he is not within 5 feet of this one. So they have to be adjacent, right? Now, you can pack a lot of people around this. You technically fit, what is it, 3, 6, 7, 8 people around this 9-point box. So, I can hit this guy and hit this guy. Now, technically, if you're smart, you can hit this guy with your main hand, hit this guy with your offhand, and then pick this guy or this guy to hit with your Hordebreaker attack. Where it becomes a little OP is if you're using things like Green Flame Blade. Green Flame Blade on your... so you only technically get one attack. Regardless of how many attacks you would normally get with Green Flame Blade, right? So even if I'm a 5th level Ranger and I have access to Green Flame Blade, if I use my action to cast Green Flame Blade, I get a melee attack as part of the spell. It's part of casting the spell, but I don't get my extra attack ability, and I don't get my offhand. Now that may seem bad, but at higher levels, it's Green Flame Blade, use your longsword, you do 1d8 plus 2d8 fire damage, plus your spellcasting ability modifier, which would be intelligence for most of those, unless you're a warlock doing it, which I wouldn't recommend, but you can do that, maybe like a Hexblade Ranger. But you, hey. So you, hit the main guy. You, play, basically whack-a-mole, with the bad guys. You hit the first one. He does 1d8 plus, I gotta put this piece of the cape back in here. It does 1d8 plus 2d8 fire plus your spellcasting modifier, which should be let's say you're a warlock, so we can just go ahead and use charisma. So it's your charisma modifier. Let's say you have a +2, so it would be 2d8 plus 2. So 1d8 plus 2d8, 1d8 piercing plus 2d8 plus 4 fire to your first target. Then you pick a target that is within 5 feet or adjacent to your original target. And that target will take 2d8 plus 2 fire damage from the green flame that weeps from your blade and ignites the person next to him. Now, the way that Hordebreaker is worded, and it's been verified as intended to be this way, is that it says when you make a melee attack. It doesn't say when you use the attack action. And those are two very distinct things. Making a melee attack is basically qualifying any attack that requires anything that makes a melee attack. Green Flame Blade, Booming Blade, all of the Paladin Smites, things like that, all the weapon enhancements. Flurry of Blows for the monks, things like that, are eligible for the Horde, or are eligible for that. As opposed to when you make the attack action, like Flurry of Blows, it specifically says when you take the attack action, which causes an issue when monks try to do. That's why you don't have a lot of monk casters, because it doesn't work. Hello? Can you fix this for me or not?
Okay.
Say hi, dear.
Good night.
Huh? Wait.
Oh, hi. I said good night.
Oh,
I thought you
you
said
can turn that
good
light
night.
on. You can turn that light off. That's Mrs. Loophole. She's randomly. She's rarely on here and randomly on here. But she makes for good content, and she loves me. And she hasn't killed me in like 17 years, so.
It's 19.
19?
Yeah.
Well. Is it really 19?
It is 19.
Woofda.
19 in May.
Hi. It's 19 in May. 19 years in May. So, congratulations to us. Congratulations to me. I haven't been killed by my wife yet. That seems like a bonus. But yeah, I will come off of ranting mode now. Sorry about that. I just feel bad for Rangers. Please, in the comments below, tell me what you think. Do you think Rangers get hosed a lot? And think Rangers have been unfairly persecuted, prosecuted, made fun of, and basically left out in the cold by Wizards of the Coast and their planning of how they do things? Or do you think it's perfectly fine? Rangers are powerful enough, Yeah, leave your comment below. We're getting there. I'm gonna take this section right here. Like I said, give it a minute or two. Every now and then when you do this, just give it a minute or two to see if it puts it back. See? It put it back. Also, I said it in my other video, the first video, part 1 of this. If you're going to be using this map in particular, or any other map that I provide, or other maps that you do from Dungeon Draft for yourself, and you're using Roll20, I apologize. Because you will have to literally go through and redo every wall in Roll20. That's just, it doesn't import them properly. You also have to redo all the dynamic lighting. However, and I have no idea what Fantasy Grounds does. I play on Fantasy Grounds as a player. I don't DM on it. It's a fine utility. I don't prefer it for my DM style. Foundry just does much better for me. It lets me. It gives me the opportunities that I need. That being said, if you have Foundry, Go Foundry, little Foundry plug, a Foundry. You can get a module for Foundry called Dungeon Draft Import, which will basically import your Dungeon Draft maps, not the PNGs that you export, but the actual Dungeon Draft VTT. You can export it to VTT, and it will keep all of your walls, all of your textures, all of your dynamic lighting intact. Now, as I said yesterday, please don't forget that while you're building straight walls, it's fine. When you do this, every one of these little nooks and crannies is a vertices. Look at how many we have. If you just simply tried to load this into Foundry, Foundry would literally take forever to load. The map would take forever. I don't even know if it would render it, to be honest. It might not. However, there is a nice, another module that I recommend everybody have, regardless of what map maker you use, Incarnate, Wonder Draft, Dungeon Draft, what have you, because what it is, it's called Merge Wall. And Merge Wall is a nice little module by, I forget who makes it, but you can find it in the Foundry library on Foundry's website. Merge Walls. What it does is it basically In a nutshell, it averages the amount of vertices you need for a singular wall, and then removes all the excess vertices. So instead of this wall having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, this will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's so... It doesn't change your map, especially with caves. It doesn't change it that much. Like, you can go back and see what it looks like if you wanted to. But you don't need that many vertices. Right? You do when you're drawing something like this so the program can tell where edges and things are. But to be honest, when you're making a map like this and you want to load it into your game and have it ready for Wednesday, you don't want to have to go through and delete individual walls and individual points in a wall by hand so that your map will load in your program. That's dumb. Now, it doesn't just do it for it does it for any map. It's not just for Dungeon Draft maps. So it just merges the walls of these maps, right? So you can definitely just go ahead and take care of that. Like I said, this is the most tedious portion. It takes about an hour or so, hour and a half. Mainly because it's don't delete the wall, delete everything else. And we're fine. What's the worst that can happen? I delete a wall, I put it back. Like I said, this extra time that you spend on your maps will definitely pay off for you in the long run. See? We're getting there. Another thing I recommend is when you see WonderDraft start to do this, see how it's slowing down a little bit. It was moving pretty good there earlier, and now it's kind of like chugga chugga chugga. It does burn up a lot of memory. Between this and OBS, they're just power hogs. There's memory hogs. So what I like to do is let me finish this little hallway here. Let's do this. Get this extra little spaces out here. Finish this up. I think that's a little too far out. I'm going to swoop that across there and maybe take a piece or so out. Alright, so we're going to save this. And then we're going to exit WonderDraft. Go to Task Manager to make sure that it closes out properly. Yeah, like OBS can't help itself. It's just burning through my memory. Yeah, browser page. Wonder if I could end task there. Does that fix it? Maybe give me lower some of that. Where are all these browser pages? I have no idea. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so there's all that. So make sure it just closes out real good. And then we're just gonna go here. Maps. Go to Dungeon Draft. Open that one. Make sure it's the new version. Up to date. Yes, it is. Menu. Open recent. We'll just crack open this new pack. We'll crack open this map again. And while we're waiting on that, I'm going to take a small break. And I will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Turn the music down a little bit. If you can't quite hear the music, let me know. If it's too loud, also let me know. I'm going to turn the webcam off again so you guys can see the whole map. Sorry I missed your, well, I apologize. Manda, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Let me turn on the webcam here. Yay. Thank you. What was it? Heart? I don't know how to do those things. Like this? Was it like this? Like this? I'm not good at that. I'm an old person. I don't know how to do this. I say thank you. So, and you'll get a thank you on Twitter as well. Follow the Twitter feed and you'll get a thank you on Twitter as well. Thank you so much. Puts us one more closer to our giveaways. Oh yeah, the giveaways. Did I mention the giveaways? I don't think I mentioned the giveaways. We're doing a couple giveaways. If you notice on our screen somewhere, oh, they're on the other one. If you notice on our screen, or below, they're up here somewhere. We are on the move to, actually, why isn't it on there? That's a good question. There we go. Let's pull this down over here in the corner where it's nice and floofy. We can shrink that down a little bit. I don't know how big that looks on the stream. You know what? I'll have to open my own stream. You want to watch me? We're going to go a little weird here. We're going to stream the stream so I can see what it looks like. Hey, Valeru. Yay. I can't follow myself. Say we're going to do this. Inception. Go back here to this so it doesn't freak out. I think those are a little big, so I can make them a tad smaller. See if we make them a little smaller, see what happens here. Let me, I'm going to move this over here. Hello? Come on. Come on over. Stop. There. Let the lag get out of the way here real quick. We can't quite see those now, can you? Can't quite read them on chat. Let's see if we go full screen. Let's try making them a little bigger here. Move them down here like this. Sorry about this. That's good. Oh. Probably should. Now, you know what? Let's get rid of that one for now.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing it.
How's your...
We're doing. So yes, so we have a 2 giveaways that we're running.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, did you want to be seen on camera?
Sure.
Okay. Let me turn the webcam back on. I'm right here.
Hi guys.
Say hi to Miss M. Yeah, we have 2 giveaways, contests going on. Well, giveaways, not really contests. We are going to give away a entire stack of these. They're the D&D minis. It will be the newest set. Let me see these. The D&D minis. It will be whatever the newest set is. We're giving away a block of these. So I believe it's
block?
no. This is one box.
A block.
A block of them are. I believe it's somewhere. I think it's either 6 or 8 of these to a block.
Ooh, nice.
When we hit 200 followers, we are at just over 150 at the moment. So at 200 followers, one of my followers we will randomly give away one of those. And then,
So who followed?
all these people followed. Look at all these people that have followed so far.
No, I mean like who followed recently.
Oh, who followed recently? Well, that's easy. That would be Manda.
Well, thank you, Amanda, for following.
So at 200 followers, we're around 150 right now. At 200 followers, one of my 200 followers will randomly get a block of D&D minis, so you can play at home.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
The other giveaway is, I think, is much cooler. Going to give away at 50 subscribers. We don't have a lot of subscribers right now. We have about 8 to 10. At 50, I'm giving away a copy of the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual, and the Dungeon Master's Guide, physical copies, all three, to a single lucky subscriber. So if we hit 50, I am going to, one of you will win the complete set of core books needed to play D&D at home.
I think that's cooler than a block of minis.
I don't know. They're just like 24 to 32 minis.
Yeah,
So-
but you can't play if you don't know the rules and the monsters and stuff.
That's a good point. So they should do both. Just to
Yeah.
be on the safe side, right?
Yeah. Subscribe and follow.
Well, follow and subscribe. Do it in that order. It's
Yes.
much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are and those are going to be brought to you by our sponsors. Our sponsors are Comic Book World at comicbookworld.com. Check them out. They ship everywhere in the continental United States. They are my local gaming store, my home away from home. Also, and they will be supplying the hardcover books. Also, we have added 2 new sponsors. One of them is another local gaming store, Three Brothers Gaming. If you live in the greater Cincinnati area and you know where Hebron is, head over to Hebron, Three Brothers Gaming. They do a lot of mini games, lots of good space over there, lots of role-playing games. And then Dirty Dips Hydrographics, which
They are super cool.
these are really, really cool.
Yes, they're amazing.
This is one of their cups.
One of their travel mugs.
Yeah, one of their
that
travel
they
mugs.
do.
It's really nice. It's got a little, it's metal on the inside. If you can see, it keeps everything really nice and cold. It's got a flip lid with a lock on it. Show that off pretty good like that, and get out of the picture right here,
Yeah.
like that. Really nice. I use it since I've got it. Keeps it really nice and cold. Especially good for streaming, so you can just put a little ice in there. Put your favorite beverage and just go at it. Dirty Dip Hydrographics. You can find them at Dirty Dip Hydrographics. And just look them up on the internet. I believe it's .com, but I wouldn't swear to it. Actually, where is my? You know what? I will tell you right now. Yes, it is Dirty Dips Hydrographics.
Show them the business card.
Yeah.
There's their business
There's
card.
your Dirty Dips Hydrographics.
There's their business card.
Okay.
They do
you check
lots of cool stuff.
Yeah. You go there. You can find them on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Head over there and check out their YouTube. You can watch them do some dips. Find out what it's all about. You can dip pretty much anything that has a hard surface on it. So that's great.
Yeah.
And they are providing us with, we're going to get some merch from them. We're in the process of setting up a promo code and some more stuff for them. So that'd be great. So let's get back to maps.
Ooh, yes. What are you building at the moment?
Well, for the people who just showed up and you, this is a map that Mark jokingly asked me to make yesterday. He needed a circular maze with caves that are 15 to 20 feet wide.
Okay, so where's the start of this maze?
Here.
Where's the finish?
Here. Well,
Okay.
there's the fake.
In the middle.
There's the fake finish. There's the secret door that takes you around through the tunnel, underneath this tunnel, into the section over here that takes you to the real finish. Because it's a maze.
Ah, that is smart.
I started working on it yesterday. We put about, we're at 1:45. We put about 3.5 hours into this, give or take.
Yesterday?
2 hours between the two
Between
streams.
today and yesterday.
Right now, what we're doing is,
Yeah, I wondered what you were doing.
so the reason we're doing this is if you use the dig cave tool and dig out your cave, right? You can set your colors, and it gives you a floor. See, it looks, you can get the nice little.
That's a nice floor.
Right, it's a nice cave floor, but it's not great.
It's like a rocky type
Right.
floor, but
Yeah.
it's not.
But here's the
best.
problem. You go over here to terrain, which is things you want to paint with. Right now the background is terrain, like the upper layer is terrain void, and then you stack other layers on top of it. You can't paint terrain on cave floors because of the way the layers are set up, right? However, you can paint terrain if you move if you take away the floor, right? So what you do is you use the cave brush to paint everything, then you use the blast open area, which is what you normally use to make a hole in the wall, right? Like that.
Yeah.
And you go in and you remove the flooring, the cave floor, right?
Huh. Okay.
Then you can paint on it. You can basically paint a new terrain into it.
Okay. That makes sense. What terrain?
I
Are
don't know
you
what I'm
going
going to.
to
I don't know yet.
use?
I don't know yet.
Ah.
But I recommend you pick the color that you want your cave walls to be for the wall color, and I always recommend using black for the ground color because it gives you a, and then use the twilight. What's it called?
It's terrain.
Terrain void. Terrain void as your first layer because it shows up really, really well. Like this is a very good way to tell, and you don't have to get rid of all of it. That's a big key. People want to go in and just erase all of this cave floor.
But you don't want to do that because you want to see some of that.
No, well,
terrain.
no, you don't even want to see some of it. What it does is, look, see how this has got a,
It's got kind of like a.
It's a
like
shadow.
A ghosty
Yeah.
kind of.
it gives you a,
Like a see-through kind of look.
yeah, almost, but you can probably be able to see through it. It'll add the, go down here like this. Yeah, it's slowing down because OBS is losing its mind, as usual. It's taking a lot longer than I want it to be. I may have to restart OBS, I think.
Does that mean you have to like stop the stream and then restart it?
Yes.
So who is this?
Huh? That's Pretzel Rocks. It's the guy playing my music. Here, listen. That's the thing that's playing my music in the background, so my people can hear music.
Oh, so it tells you the next song?
Yeah, it tells you the song that's playing.
Nice. I thought that was like a viewer saying.
No,
Like what?
it's a nice one. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. I will be right back, but I'm just going to reload and restart
OBS.
OBS. So I'll be right back.
We're gonna end the stream. You'll be